exciting thing about a figure skating performance is that it really is a moment in time, and sometimes it all pulls together to become magic. And that's what Sheldon and Caitlin created with their program Smile. It was the perfect combination of clever choreography, beautifully melded with the music, and a real character development in this short amount of time, 1 minute and 45 seconds of performance. They managed to tell a story and cast a spell. And when that happens, the entire audience feels that electricity, and certainly the judges did too, and that's why they got 6.0 across the board.
6. Right across the board.
When Brian threw Vanessa in the twist lift, it was spectacular. And the reason why it was spectacular was because it was only a single, and in competition you see doubles and you see triples, so you don't really get, because it all happens so quickly, you don't really see how extraordinary it is in the throw and in the height. But with Vanessa's huge split and Brian being so tall to begin with, she just flew, and I thought that that was a really magical moment. The tie, well, we've never had a tie before. And oh gosh, I mean, we were all on the edge of our seats because we knew it was in the judges' hands, and it never really occurred to us until the very last moment that Kurt would consider a tie.
You need to keep going, PJ, and so do you, so I'm gonna tie you guys. We'll see you both next week.
5.7, 17.2, wow!
When you're producing this show, you fall in love with all the pairs. You don't want anyone to go home. And in particular that night, because we have such a soft spot for PJ and Violetta, and then Katya and Bruno are so extraordinary, and they both had solid skates. It really was like choosing an apple over an orange. So back in Producer's Palace, we were really excited with Kurt's decision. I want to grow up to be like Natalie, and her attitude, her confidence, and her sheer joy and her approach to everything is so joyous, and she's so excited. She and Andrew became a really solid partnership, and it started right from the beginning. There was electricity there, but it really grew, and for me, I think it was perhaps, if I recall, week 3, where they did the more romantic number, and Natalie had an opportunity to show her vulnerability and her sensitivity. And I thought that was a real step forward for her and for the partnership. It really came alive. The female hockey player has a completely different experience in this show, I think, because there is so much that's asked of them, so many firsts in their lives as professional athletes, because all of a sudden costuming and body line and makeup and hair and all of this stuff comes into play along, and the whole artistic expression as the woman in a partnership. That's all added on top of what they have to learn just in terms of skating with toe picks and learning technique. So in pair skating and in ice dancing, I mean, it is very much a union of two equals, but the focus is often on the woman. And the female hockey player has to take on that responsibility. And it's a very vulnerable thing for them to go through because they've never had to think of the things that they have to think of. So my heart goes out to the female players, and I think that they've been extraordinarily brave. And we certainly have learned from both of them, from both Amanda and Kessel and Natalie Spooner, in that to just grab an opportunity and push as hard as you can and maintain your confidence as a woman. Well, Ain't No Sunshine for Katya and Bruno was really the perfect combination of pair skating technique with expression and flow and fluidity. they were equals on the ice, and I felt that that was really almost the first time, or especially the time Bruno stepped up to be Katya's leading man. And she's a two-time Olympic champion. That's quite a heavyweight to stand next to and perform, and I felt that Bruno really took that performance and made it his own, and they were very much a unit, not just technically but emotionally. It swept the audience away. You know, Colton has been pretty amazing because what he and Amanda have set out to do is really push technically, and they've done the most difficult pair elements in the competition with the throws and the twists consistently. I mean, the other pairs have done some of it, but not as consistently as Amanda and Colton have. And he's the kind of guy who really works and really cares. And I know that he was especially careful about Amanda's safety and very nervous of that. And when Colton gets nervous, he stops breathing, and so he had to learn how to breathe throughout these whole performances. They certainly grew as a partnership. They were a strong unit right from the beginning and had their sets, their goal set right from the beginning. And it's been really wonderful to watch them progress and see the work ethic be rewarded with improvement and with stronger and stronger performances each week. We were all really devastated for Colby when he was injured, and for the first 24 hours we didn't even want to think about a replacement. Our minds were on, first of all, Colby's well-being, but then also was there a chance that he could continue in the show. And when it became obvious that he couldn't, because we were so close to our week 1 show, we really felt that we needed to turn to a skater, a player who had previous experience in the show. And we first looked at, we first thought of PJ, quite frankly, because he knows the show so well, because he was Violetta's partner, because he was a judge, because he would know what he was getting into, and because he has a lion's heart. The pairing is often very organic. What we do is, once we know our cast and we gather them, as many as we possibly can for boot camp, we stand back. We meaning myself, Michael Sieber, Paul Martini, whatever other coaches and choreographers are with us, and we stand back and we just observe. And we watch for their personalities to emerge, their body language, and we mix and match partners. We have them switching around, and we just kind of see where the chemistry comes from. I love them all. You know, I love every season. I love every pair. They're like my babies. Actually, for me, a lot of the magic happens before we get on camera, watching them train or watching them in dress rehearsal and watching that transformation and watching the players take on this journey with such bravery. And then the fact that they're all doing it for charity and all care so deeply is very moving for me and humbling.